Hello, my astrology friends and family. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial here with the October 2022 video horoscopes for each of the 12 signs. And I'm calling October the month of the turning point month. Why is that? Because three planets are turning direction. At the beginning of the month, Mercury is turning direct in Virgo. Later on, Pluto is turning direct in Capricorn. Towards the end of the month, on the 23rd, Saturn is turning direct in Aquarius, and at the very end of the month, the last 3 days, Mars is turning retrograde in Gemini. Crazy stuff. Why is that? When planets are turning direction, and so many at the same month, within 30 days, 4 planets, guys, are gonna turn direction. It's a pivotal time when events in our life also turn around, when events in the world also start changing. You'll see it will make a big difference this month. And the month ends with a big bang. First starts with Mercury turning direct, Pluto, Saturn, usually planets turning direct lead to things improving or becoming easier, more according to plan, not needing so much effort. So in many areas of your life, in at least 3 or 4 areas of your life, the beginning of the month up to the 20th, 24th, 5th, there will be things that becoming easier gradually, you'll notice. And in the world as well. But at the end, Mars is turning retrograde. This is when things become a bit more complicated for the whole world. And an eclipse. Eclipses always are a bit of a crisis period. And I'm going to talk a quick summary of what this means for the whole world. And then we're going to go into the 12 signs. But before I go, I want to make an announcement that we're making a big discount on all courses of the late great astrologer Nicholas Stojanovic, who passed away last year. He is the most incredible astrologer with the most precise predictions I've ever seen. What we're going through right now, he predicted it on videos. The proceeds will go to his daughter, who is trying to continue his work and is trying to bring out more books that he was ready to publish. Hopefully this will help her with her work in more classes that he did. But the only classes that are ever available from Nicholas Stojanovic, with the most incredible astrology method that I've seen, that he developed himself with precision that people thought he was psychic, is and very easy as well, is available only on astrolada.com, and we're making 30-40% discount on his courses for the next couple of weeks to 3 weeks. But now let's continue. First, Mercury turns direct, and initially at the very beginning of the month in Virgo is becoming visible. It might be quite good for the markets. It might be quite good for anyone from the beginning of the month who wants to publish, to write, to be heard. With businesses will improve, complications connected to communications will improve, connected to papers, to documents, will learning, will become, and any kind of communications and relationships generally should improve with people around you. But very good for anything that is written, spoken, business, marketing, and so on, to publish, to put it out there. And then Pluto turns direct. Some internal or external power struggles will start getting resolved, especially with authority figures, because it's in the sign of Capricorn. And then on the 23rd, Saturn becomes direct. But it means Saturn is stationary the whole month. And pretty much Mars is also stationary. It looks like they're sitting in one space. Mars in Aquarius, Mars in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, holding a trine actually, which is good. So it might feel like some areas in your life are kind of stuck, that they're not moving, but it's almost like the quiet before everything turns around. There is like a peaking and it reaches a final level where it can't carry on like that, and then it reverses. But maybe because Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius, there might be certain important reversals, turning points about society, about any kind of restrictions imposed on society, that it might be like a final reversal of such matters. And that's the last time Saturn is retrograde, actually, in Aquarius, by the way. So any kind of restrictions imposed in society maybe should be reversed. Maybe some kind of new laws that can be created starting from the end of the month. and some kind of society overall in the economy. This is the economy. Any kind of limitations that were like restrictions and so on should be also reversed all over the world, hopefully. But then when having Mars turning retrograde towards the last 3 days, 4 days of October in Gemini, and retrograde means it starts moving backwards. And I'm hoping for retrograde planet also means things kind of being reined in a little bit. So I'm really praying that Mars in Gemini symbolizes fighting between brothers, fighting between neighbors, fighting between relatives. And we're seeing what's happening in Azerbaijan and Armenia, Russia, and Ukraine. Neighbors versus neighbors, states after state for states. I hope that it's some kind of a reversal in that direction, or reining in, or turning of direction in the wars that are being led right now between brotherly countries. So maybe if one is taken over now, there might be a change of direction who is taken over when the planet reverses happens. Plus, over the next 3-4 months after that, Mars retrograde can deepen the problems, but kind of with more cautionary approach, while they're being re-examined, and a lot of truth starts coming out about those problems. But the big thing is also the eclipse that is happening on the 25th. Eclipse season is starting from October. You can be felt even before, a month before that. And there will be next one is in November. It's happening at the beginning degrees of Scorpio. New moon eclipse, something new with the south node. And it's very crisis prone, this eclipse, because it's in Scorpio, is the sign of crisis. Something sudden, unexpected, something that is removed from our lives, that is released because it's the south node, but only to make space for something new, which is Venus, indicated by Venus and the planet. And when there is a good planet, like we say, benefic with an eclipse, like Francis said, the ancients said that the malevolence or the difficulty of eclipses is decreased, or it's neutralized in some sense. So yes, it can create some crisis that happens around the world, but it will have like a silver lining in it, or in your own life as well. Early born Scorpios, early born Tauruses, early born Leos, early born or late, the late degrees as well of Libra can feel it. The late degrees of Aries can feel it. So some kind of a crisis, something new, but first you release something, so something new can be born, which is a Venus nature, like love or money or something that is brings happiness of some sort, material as well in some way. But the process involves releasing something first. Collectively, Scorpio is the sign of taxes. There might be, and this eclipse shows what will happen in the next 12 months. So maybe not immediately in October, but over the next 12 months, including 2023, there can be a big relief, possibly, or big changes in the tax system in certain countries, relief of debt of some sort of countries or of individual people, which I'm hoping for, or some big change that is starting to happen in the tax system. Hopefully not going up, but it's kind of a bit hard to say because it's with the south node. I'm hoping it's kind of less, and Scorpio also rules people's investments, finances, things like stock market, things like, and then there will be an eclipse in Taurus, which is again connected to prices, to money. So we're gonna see shakeups. We're already seeing it with the prices again, crisis with money, shakeups with that. And we're going to see investments or savings that they might be under some crisis there as well. It's just the beginning. And because Mars going retrograde, a lot of astrologers, financial ones, are expecting big financial crisis on the markets as well. I would advise you pension, K40, what was it? Where you keep your pension money or mutual funds or trusts or hedges. Be careful. If you can withdraw your money, can be a good advice. If you can withdraw your money from a bank to have some cash, might be a good idea as well, because there can be big surprises there. And I think it might not be like totally you lose all your money or whatever, because Venus is in this eclipse. But the following one in November is not that easy. And because Venus is in this eclipse, if something happens with your savings or mutual trusts and investments or pensions and so on, maybe there will be some kind of a silver lining, like the government can compensate for those things, or I'm hoping for that. But just start, you see big shakeups in those areas. So there you go, guys. And Mars going retrograde in Gemini. I talked a lot about that. They can be a big event in October or around the retrograde, the stationary period, connected to civil unrest, connected to Gemini's society as well. It's the towns, the cities, it's the people in them, and Mars is unrest. It's more violence of some sort. Fingers crossed, just be safe, I think Mars holds a very good trine with Saturn the whole time. So the situation can be under control, even if it's very much escalating. Like I said, also the situation between brother versus brother, Russia, Ukraine, especially on the stationary period, which is the whole October, can be escalating, but it's kind of held under control still because of the trine of Saturn. But when Mars starts moving retrograde, I hope that there might be some pulling back, basically in November, December, a little bit of this re-examining of the situation. Fingers crossed again. I'm not God to tell you, I'm just here trying to unfold the meanings of what is going to be happening. All right, so now let's start with the 12 signs. Taurus, October 2022, Sun, Moon or Rising. The month starts with Mercury turning direct in your 5th house, Tauruses. So if there were some complications, misunderstandings or delays connected to your love life, connected to a relationship with children, or connected to some creative projects or creative activities, they start getting resolved. Also, if you've been working hard, putting your efforts on some creative project, something you're passionate about, you start seeing the results of it now and things start going smoothly there. And then Mercury continues being direct throughout the month in Libra, where it was first retrograde in your 6th house. And if there were some complications or difficulties connected to your work, to your duties and responsibilities, to your everyday routines, if they got a bit more messed up or with a lot of unexpected ups and downs, these start improving and smoothing out and running according to plan. Or if you've been working hard on some project behind the scenes or on editing, perfecting some work, or working on your health, if you've been revising during the Mercury retrograde your health, then your health starts improving this October, and your some health habits become more easy to maintain as well, and your daily routines start running smoothly. The next thing is that Saturn will turn direct as well around the 23rd. And by the way, there is a big focus this month on the 6th house Tauruses, because Venus, the Sun, and Mercury are all in your 6th house of work, duties, responsibilities. It's a great time, and there is a new moon there. Oftentimes people feel inspired to renew their health routines, or maybe renewal of something that maintains your health. Renewed efforts, for example, for good posture, for better eating, for healthy routines, for supplements, whatever it is. And you do it with more love. Venus is there with more dedication, and such things can be big focus for you. How to be healthier, how to take care of your body. And also work is the 6th house, employment, they can be renewal, possibilities that appears there, like a new work project for some of you, environment and so on. And then, so big focus here on the 6th house. And then Saturn on the 23rd turns direct in your 10th house. I think you'd appreciate this, Tauruses, because when Saturn is retrograde, maybe there was you questioned in the 10th house for the last few months. Maybe there was a questioning of your career, or maybe things were going slow there, or maybe you were working extra hard on some career project, or maybe some situation with authority or boss figures. If it was complicated or not going anywhere, it will start turning and improving. So it may be if there were delays with an institution, delays or problems with bosses, they start getting resolved. If there was problems or If you work very hard on some career project, as I said, you start seeing the results of those efforts now. If there was some blockages to your career, start getting resolved. They start moving forward. Anything connected to your social status, if there were problems, or with any authority figures or parents as well, sometimes these things become easier, lighter. There's still more for you to do there because Saturn continues to be in this 10th house of worldly responsibilities, duties, career, reputation. Still, things are kind of it's Saturn after all. You have to approach it very seriously with efforts, but it starts becoming easier. It starts giving results and payback for your efforts. And then we have Eclipse that Tauruses will be very strongly affected by. This eclipse is happening in your 7th house, Tauruses. It's happening on the 25th. Some of you might feel it already a few weeks before, and it gives the note and the tone for the next 6 to 12 months. So the event might not be immediate, oftentimes is within weeks of the eclipse, but it's showing a huge focus and kind of pivotal fated events connected to your relationships, especially if your ascendant or moon is in Taurus, with the sun as well. I can tell you when there was a south node eclipse opposite my sun, exactly, years ago, I got married that year. It was more of a south node relationship, which was more kind of spiritual, past life connection rather than, strong desire one. But sometimes it can indicate a big turning point and a big fated event connected to relationships. Some of it because it's new moon can even meet someone. Taurus is a fated relationship that is meant to be in your life or to change your life in some way, and it's connected to past lives, or it's connected to the past in some way, or there is some spiritual undertones to it, or maybe a new partnership, or a new towards the end of the month, or some. But it's interesting because it's with the south node. First, it might clear off certain partnership or contract or relationship. It might feel like a crisis, and it might come out of the blue that someone disappears from your life, that someone is taken away from your life. Even life can take them away, or they might leave, or they might pass, or they might, something happens with an important person, a partner, or business partner, client, or someone that you're in collaboration with, one-on-one, or close friend, that some pivotal event happens there. There might be some testing of a relationship, like a crisis period to it, because it's after all an eclipse. Eclipses are not always, everything is perfect. Sometimes there's a shock factor there. And there's some fated factor there. But because it's a new moon eclipse, it entails making space for something new to come in your life through a partnership, through a relationship, even if it clears off another. And because Venus is present there, the planet of love, I think for some of you might be a fated relationship, as I said, or fated collaboration of some sort. And even if something is cleared up from your life, it's making space for something that might come over the next 12 months. And especially if you're early born Taurus, those that are born in April 20th, 21st, 22nd, 24th, 23rd, those 4 or 5 days, or if you're a Taurus rising or moon in the first 5 to 10 degrees, you're going to feel this eclipse the strongest, that can really literally turn your life around. But it is connected to circumstances a little bit outside of you because it's in the 7th house, not yours. And it's kind of connected to the people around you as well. Some big new beginning in the life of a partner, a big change there. I don't know exactly what to tell you. It depends on what situation you're currently in life as well. And the next event that is important is that Jupiter is moving back to your 11th house at the very end of the month, the last 3 days. So from the 12th, where it's not very active, in the 12th, the Jupiter benevolence cannot be felt much for the last 6 months. It's more like expansive. Spiritually it's been, but materially on the outside you can't see it so much. But Jupiter dips back into the 11th house of gains, from the very end of October. So for some of you, mostly November and part of December can be months to be more gainful, to be rewarded for something. It's the 11th houses of gains, rewards, awards. And Jupiter loves being the 11th house because it gives big such one. Your social life can pick up from the end of October. Your also, I think like the later born Tauruses can feel really more uplifted, more positive, more optimistic overall, more luckier. Basically, those born on the last 4 or 5 days of Taurus, the last 5 degrees of Taurus, will especially strongly feel this Jupiter in November and December, already starting from the end of October. So it's if you have any social events, if you have some big projects to bring out to the public, if you want to reach or expand your fans or clients, if you want to make more money as well, if you want to fulfill some dream or long-term goal or participate in large organizations or participate in movements, when Jupiter goes in the 11th house, this opportunity will be given to you again. If you want to make difference in the world, or if you want social economic rewards of some sort on something that you've been working already on, this can become more easily accessible when Jupiter is back in the 11th house. And then last but not least, at the very last days of October, Mars is turning retrograde in your second house. So I would advise you not to take financial risk. If you do anything new with finances, move them, whatever, do it before, I would say before 25th, of, sorry, before the 25th of October, because after that Mars starts going retrograde. So any new financial endeavors, keep them till the 20th, 20 something of October. After that, it might be the time to re-examine something with your finances, to rebudget, to some crisis can happen for some of you connected to money, finances, some change of point of view and direction of how your resources, your possessions that you have to redo while Mars is retrograde in the second house. Some change of attitude towards food, towards your ingest, towards what you put in your body, because it's also the second house. With your teeth, be more careful. It might be good actually even to have, or might be the need to have some procedures with your teeth during the retrograde period. Mars's ultimate goal is to perfect, to improve things, to deal with crisis, to fix things that are broken. So if anything's connected to finances, your attitude to money, your self-worth as well, and to your teeth, interestingly enough, the second house, and your food, what you eat, you'll be dealing with those things during the Mars retrograde period in most of November, the whole December, all November, all December. But of course, it can entail some kind of a situation financially, that you have to deal with there. Okay, so there you go. That's for you, Tauruses. And thank you so much. And check out the courses of Nicole Stojanovic, which are discounted 30%, and the proceeds goes to his daughter. So yes, thank you so much. And I think you have a lot of, you see, this month is Tauruses is a lot focused on the 2nd, the 10th, and the 6th houses. So for you Tauruses, these are all material houses, dealing and resolving issues connected to money, to work, to career. And there is a big focus on relationships because of the eclipse there that I told you in the 7th house. But generally, I think despite of the retrograde of Mars that is happening, you can get a lot of things done connected to taking care of practical, material things, physical, career, and so on. Thank you.